This is Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi, a time to listen, reflect, and deeply meditate, know yourself, and be always free and at peace. Welcome. I'm Richard Clarke. I'm not a teacher or a guru. I just love this teaching, so want to share it. I'm reviewing and commenting on the book Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. This week is Talk 144. Mr. Prakasa Rao, what is the root cause of Maya? Maharshi asks him, what is Maya? And he says, Maya is wrong knowledge, illusion. Maharshi says, for whom is the illusion? There must be one to be deluded. Illusion is ignorance. The ignorant self sees the objects according to you. When the objects are not themselves present, how can Maya exist? Maya is Ya-Ma. Maya is what is not. What remains over is the true self. If you say that you see the objects, or if you say that you do not know the real unity, then are there two selves, one the knower and the other the knowable object? No one will admit of two selves in himself. The awakened man says that he himself was in deep slumber, but not aware. He does not say that the sleeper was different from the present one. There is only one self. That self is always aware. It is changeless. There is nothing but the self. Then the dialogue continues with the question, what is the astral body? Maharshi says, do you not have a body in your dream? Is it not different from the recumbent body on the bed? The devotee says, do we survive after death? Does the astral body outlive physical death? Maharshi says, just as in dreams you wake up after several novel experiences, so also after physical death, another body is found, and so on. Then the devotee says, they say that the astral body lives for 40 years after death. Maharshi, in the present body, you say the dream body is astral. Did you say so in the dream body? What is astral now would appear real then. The present body itself is astral, according to that viewpoint. What's the difference between one astral body and another? There is no difference between the two. Mr. Paul Brunton, there are degrees of reality, to which Maharshi responds, to say that the dream body is unreal now, and to say that this body was unreal in the dream does not denote degrees of reality. In deep sleep, there's no experience of the body at all. There is always only one, and that is the self. In this dialogue from Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi, the central theme revolves around the nature of Maya, illusion. the unity of the self, and the concept of reality in different states of consciousness. Ramana's responses are deeply rooted in Advaita Vedanta. Mr. Rao initiates the conversation by asking about the root cause of Maya, to which Ramana responds with a question: what is Maya? This sets the stage for an exploration of the nature of Maya. Mr. Rao defines Maya as wrong knowledge or illusion. Ramana challenges the concept of Maya by asking who is deluded by it, pointing out that Maya is rooted in ignorance. He emphasizes that the ignorant self perceives objects based on this illusion. For the ignorance, reality is a projected view, with a projection based on the ignorance. Ramana provides a linguistic insight into the term Maya, breaking it down as ya, ma, meaning what is not. He says that what is beyond Maya is the true self. The true self is unaffected by illusion, unaffected by ignorance. Ramana then asks whether there can be two selves, one that knows and another that is known. He asserts there's only one self, and this self is always aware, changeless, and the ultimate reality. When asked about the astral body, Maharshi draws parallels to the experience of having a body in dreams. He says that just as dream bodies differ from the physical body, the concept of an astral body should be understood in similar ways. Whatever is the context, waking, dream, astral, there seems to be a body for that context. All these bodies are illusory. They come and go in the one reality that is the self. In response to the question of survival after death, Ramana likens after death to waking up from a dream. He suggests there's a continuity of existence beyond physical death. The body comes and goes. Existence, reality, the self does not. When Paul Brunton introduces the idea of degrees of reality, Ramana dismisses it out of hand. He argues that labeling the dream body as unreal in the waking state and vice versa does not imply degrees of reality. He says that in deep sleep, there is no experience of the body at all, and says, quote, there is always only one, and that is the self. This dialogue showcases Ramana Maharshi's profound teaching on Maya, the unity of the self, the nature of reality in different states of consciousness, and the continuity of existence beyond the death of the body. It underscores the core principles of Advaita Vedanta, emphasizing the oneness and changelessness of the self as the ultimate reality. So inquire, know yourself, and be always free and at peace. And now a talk from Nome, the illusion of duality.
Every illusion of duality is nothing more than the effect of misidentification, which alone constitutes ignorance or delusion. Non-duality is the natural state of self-knowledge. In non-dual truth, since you are not the body, nor a mind or an ego entity, you have never been born. For the unborn, there is no perishing. In non-dual truth, since the self is both infinite and indivisible, and you are that, why, then free from any other misidentification, there is nothing created, nothing objective. The Maharshi has given the instruction that one ought to abandon the objective outlook and know oneself. For without knowing oneself, one is only dreaming an illusion. If you know yourself, then there's neither dream nor dreamer. That is, no individual, embodied or otherwise, is born, nor is there any objective dream or world. The thing to do for self-knowledge, or self-realization as we call it, is to actually inquire as to who you are. Put the question to yourself, not so much the phrase, "Who am I?" but the introspection implied by it. Questing inward to know the nature of your own being, the innermost consciousness, which is also the abode of bliss. Every conception of dualism, every notion of being bound, that is to say, every apparent cause of suffering, is due only to misidentification. If we inquire, "Who am I?" and know our real nature, the very cause of misidentifying, the cause of imagination, is absent. Then we know with certainty that there is no samsara, repetitive cycle of birth, death, and illusion, and that only Brahman, the vast Absolute, is real. That alone exists, and that alone is the Self. So the Chandogya Upanishad gives the instruction, Tattvamasi, that you are. This is to be known with a knowledge that is self-knowledge, non-objective knowledge. Known in the same way that you know that you exist right now. You have always had this knowledge. It is not time-bound as in past, present, or future. This knowledge is innate. We can say this knowledge ought to know itself. That is, your being ought to repose in itself, free of imagination. Inquire within yourself and determine what your identity is, what your actual existence is. As a hint in the right direction, abandon the misidentification, the tendency to mix up yourself with what is not you. That is, with anything that is objective, anything that is discontinuous or sporadic, anything that is not eternal, anything that has birth and death, anything that depends on your senses to be perceived, anything that depends on thinking to be conceived. If you abandon such, you will really have given up nothing. For giving up the unreal is not like giving up something. And without gaining anything anew, you will find yourself established in the self as the self, which is the greatest peace, and is the state in which reality knows itself, where God knows God.
All right, and so now let us inquire. Notice that you exist, and you know that you exist. Now inquire, investigate within yourself. What is Maya, illusion, and what is real? Is there one self to know the other, or just one self? What's your experience? What within you is always aware and changeless? Can you know this? What dies? What does not? Who am I? What is the nature of my existence? What actually exists? All right. So let's close with our chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. All right, comments, discussions?
Like always, there's nothing left to say.
I appreciate it that Nome says that all of the illusion, all of Maya, is based on our misidentifications. So again, the universe is innocent. We're causing all the trouble ourselves.
When they
You're muted, Evelyn.
For me, it's easier to know it than to actually really detach from it 100%.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Although, yeah, I mean, I know when I'm getting caught.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's kind of far down the road.
Uh-huh. Right, I understand. And sometimes it's right away.
Yes, sometimes right away. Yeah.
Again, I've been appreciating more and more Nome's talking about Vasanas and how to dissolve your Vasanas. Certainly, Ramana says that the Vasanas are basically everything that stands in the way of realization.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me wonder why there's not more practice in dissolving the vasanas. And Ramana, or Nome, excuse me, is really the only one I've ever heard talk about the reality of dealing with vasanas, that vasanas are a misidentification confounded with errors about the source of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the identification of being a mind and a body,
Yes,
and self-attention, Ramana says, is the only thing to do, go within.
right.
And,
And Ramana doesn't say dissolve the vasanas. When he was asked about it in talks, he said what to do about the vasanas is to know yourself. And the person who asked him the question about how to deal with vasanas said, that's kind of circular, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, sometimes I see it as like instant gratification versus delayed gratification. And most human beings are not great on delayed gratification. It's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, I see that, I want that, and I want it now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But you can still turn this around on its head, because
Mm-hmm.
what is always available, which is a good source for instant gratification,
Yeah.
is the happiness that you already are.
Yeah. But you have
And
to have a good taste of that.
right. But again, what is more instant than your
Yeah.
own existence right now?
Yeah.
We just have these silly ideas that chocolate is going to make us happy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, it's one of the standard ones that is used in the discussion. And Carol and I like our chocolate at night.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so much the path, certainly in the beginning, is just going on faith.
Right, right. That's how it starts. And that's one of
Yeah.
the things that the guru is good for, because the guru,
Mhm.
if you accept the guru and believe in the guru, that gives you a great basis for that faith.
Yeah, it's almost indispensable, really,
Mm-hmm.
that you have the certitude, the one certitude that you're able to grasp as
Right,
a
right.
jiva. Yeah.
And when asked about the, what do you do to get realized, Ramana said the first is basically Guru's grace, and everything else, meditation, inquiry, and all of that other stuff, are just aids. But the Guru's grace is the thing that does it. And with Ramana and the disciples that we know around the world that have realized after he left the body, it's clear that the grace of the Guru does not depend on the Guru's physical presence. You know,
It's ever
reading
present,
it.
ever present.
Mm-hmm. So it's just up to us to find it in our heart. Well, okay. It's been good, and thank you for joining me, and namaste, and we'll
Namaste.
see you
Thank
next
you.
week.
See ya.
Okay.
These videos help bring Ramana Maharshi's teachings into your direct experience. Subscribe now